What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward, what's happening with other factors involved in the markets, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin double information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon in just about 2 days from now. Anyways, for SPY, I just wanted to mention that we got this nice little gap up to the new all-time high at 550. But once we hit this 550 area, SPY wasn't able to really hold this. We saw a little bit of rejection back down to about 548.5. And now we're trying to kind of shuffle in this area. So I'm going to break down more information about this. I just wanted to mention that at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the 17-week, 4-week, and 8-week bill auctions coming out, which could cause some volatility. Besides that, now let's just talk about these levels. So if SPY ends up losing 548.5, I'll be looking for a move back down to about 547, to about 546.8, which is where we ended up seeing this thing going last Friday. Not Friday, so last Tuesday. It was on Tuesday, not Friday. For resistance, we also have this 550 area. If we break past 550.5, I'll be looking for 552. Overall, with this downtrend that's being established on SPY, I think that there's a very good chance that SPY could, if we lose support at 548.5, we could be dipping all the way down to the 547s. I am seeing some weakness on the chart. We haven't really lost support yet, so make sure you watch this range just to be safe. So it really depends on which way we break. I am seeing some weakness and potential for us to decline more, but for now, right, we're in this range, so just give it some time and we'll see which way we end up going. This is the same thing that could be said about the QQQ. Now on the triple Q, we have this little liquidity grab right here, so I'll be watching if we get a little pop again before we continue lower. But here are some key levels. We basically have resistance at 488 and also at 487. This is where the previous all-time high happened to be. And then also 486. If we end up losing that, I'll be looking at 484 as critical support. If we fail to break past 486, I'll be looking for 484 as support just to correct that. And if we lose 484, we turn a lot more bearish, and then we're going to be looking for a much bigger decline. So from the way I see things, at least for the QQQ, this is kind of like the range that we have. There is a chance it's going to dip a little bit lower, so I'll be watching to see. Look for a little rebound first, then maybe a bearish continuation, so I'll be waiting for that. For Nvidia pushed all the way up to about this 140 area as resistance, and we got a little rejection right here. Our key support is currently right here around this 139 area, so you could see why it kind of like was trading this way. And we had this gap to fill. We actually came down to fill the gap towards 136, only to get bought back up. So as far as Nvidia goes, I think that there's a good chance that Nvidia will remain in this range, but it might decline a little bit lower. We might range trade for a bit and then eventually decline, and I'm going to be looking for about the 138 area to be retested. I'm seeing potential for downside on this, looking at the current trend. For Bitcoin is also kind of dipping a bit. We got this rejection off our 200 EMA. I'll be watching for a test of about 64,600 and eventually lower levels like 64,000, the very low area there. So I'm seeing some downside potential in Bitcoin. For other stocks, what else is contributing to why the market's dipping is Aapl. Apple's contributing because if you look at Aapl, we have this double top like structure, and we're starting to dip down to 210. If we lose that, we'll be looking for dip all the way down to the 207s. So I'm seeing some weakness on Aapl and the potential to dip even more, which could slow the QQQ and SPY down as well. So watch for that very carefully. For the IWM Russell 2000, we pushed all the way up to about 202, but if we don't break past 202, if we don't break resistance there, we could reject. If we break 202, I'll be looking for 204. If we reject off 202, we'll be dipping back down to 200. And if that fails, we'll be coming back down as well. So watch for a test of very close to 202. If we fail to break it, we could be looking for the rejection. For AMD, we got some bullish news that just came out. We actually got a nice breakout today. Despite bearish technicals, we actually got a nice breakout. So I'll be looking at this gap to fill all the way up here towards 168. So there could be a little bit more upside coming. Looks pretty good so far. Coinbase, of all things, is actually holding up decently, but the trend is more bearish. So I'm watching resistance at the 20 EMA, 239.5. If we fail to break that, I'll be looking for dip back down to 235. So I'm seeing some downside potential. For a few more, looking at I'm going to do Amazon, Meta, Google, and I'll kind of conclude the video from there. Amazon is building some strength right now. We have this imbalance to fill all the way up here. We're going to be looking for 188 as resistance. I see upside potential in this, so I think we're going to be coming back up there. So I'll be looking at it to get very close to, I'm sorry, it's 187.5, very close to 188. We could dip from here and then continue higher, but still looks bullish. Meta, on the other hand, is just kind of trading sideways. We're just in this range, so we're getting tighter and tighter. Watch 502.5 is resistance. We have support around 500. As we're getting tighter, we'll be looking for a big move in either direction. If we break past 505, look for 510. And if we end up losing 500, I'll be looking for a dip down to 496. For Microsoft is kind of dipping a little bit. We have resistance currently at 445, and we have support all the way down here around uh, basically around this 440 area. So I do see a risk of this actually dipping lower. So I'll be watching for this very carefully. For Google is just trading sideways within a range as well, very sideways price action. But when you zoom out, we have a head and shoulders like structure. So this makes me a little concerned. If we end up losing 175, expect a bigger drop on Google, a decline all the way down to the lower 170s. But for now, we have resistance at 178. We have support at 170, 176.5, and also 175. And I am seeing a risk of Google to dip lower, so be careful. GameStop is building some strength, trying to get back above 25. If we break past 28, look for more upside. Otherwise, we may just continue to shuffle in this range. Same thing with AMC. We're kind of shuffling a bit. We have to try to break past 5.5 to turn bullish. I do see potential for a bounce later, but we're not quite there yet. So I'll be waiting some more time. It's going to likely shuffle for a bit before we get some kind of big move. Anyways, guys, the market's kind of boring. SPY is still kind of stuck within this range, so we'll have to give this some time. But just know, resistance is getting tougher for SPY and the QQQ, and we'll be watching to see how well we end up holding up. So this is our big test right now. Which way do we break? Can we hold around these levels, or do we get a big rejection? I'll be continuing to wait and see just how it goes. One more thing about the VIX. Let me just call out this real quick. So I wanted to say that the VIX is in a very interesting place. There are two possibilities. If the market wants to go higher, could the VIX come down to fill this gap all the way down to the 12 area? It's possible. Or is this like a nice inverse head and shoulders? We have a left shoulder here, we have a head and then a right shoulder. And are we about to see a big breakout in the VIX all the way into the 13 and 14s? We will wait and see. I mean, we did see a similar pattern right here where we had like an inverse head and shoulders and a breakout. So I will wait and see how the VIX ends up performing from here. One thing worth noting is that the VIX loves to bounce between 11.5 and 12. We did hit 12 already. We reached that support, right? We already reached the 12s and we're continuing to hold up. So we hit support on the VIX. It's just a matter of time for when this is going to bounce. I think it will soon, which suggests that the market may see some downside soon as well. So that's what's worth noting. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to continue to watch these levels and see how SPY is performing, and just know that the market is showing some signs of, I wouldn't say like weakness, but it's more like we just have some tough resistance, and we could see some technical setups thanks to that. Maybe even like a little pullback thanks to that. So we'll see how it goes, guys. We're not necessarily losing 548.5 yet, so I can't really say we're weak or anything like that. So we'll give the market some time and see how things go. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in a few hours. Thanks again, and peace out.